So we are back for another One Piece chapter that Oda has already dropped something horrible on all of his fans, which let me tell you something. If you are getting hit by all of no, not just one person, two people, three people, but all five of the strongest people in their prime from back then, that says a lot. And trust me when I say that's a lot. That's a lot of people getting you getting hit with all their signature attacks. So here we are at One Piece chapter 1663, titled Promises. And let's go ahead and jump in, because what happened last chapter was that Saint Saturn was talking to Eam, and basically Saint Saturn said to Eam, like, yeah, it looks like things are about to get very complicated, because he's basically telling Eam that it's out of control. Basically, when we can't do nothing, I can't do, even if I stepped in, I might end up getting defeated at the end. Basically, like, if I appeared on the battlefield, that would just seem like, I can't handle this. Well, actually no, because Saint Saturn did this before. Remember, he did this on Egghead, and what happened? What actually did happen? Well, it wasn't his fault. Well, it was his fault, but things escalated out of his head and Vegapunk was killed. But the information, the broadcast still, like, it was a dead man switch. So even if you killed Vegapunk or Dr. Vegapunk, that would he had a dead man switch just in case, like a contingency plan, even if he died. So yeah, and the broadcast still went out. So there you go. So I guess you can say Saint Saturn told him, "Oh, I mean, I can't do it." Well, this is a long time ago. So I guess Saint Saturn told Eam, was like, yeah, with all these powerful people on the island, even Marines, I mean, you got Garp there, even seeing me as like the threat here, I might end up getting defeated here. So perhaps you can lend me a hand. And I'm pretty sure Eam, listening to Saint Saturn giving him a report, he was just sitting there like, okay, there's like mental image of what's going on. So I'm guessing him seeing just like pictures like, okay, so things are not going as planned. Got it. Okay, I get it. So what's the next best thing? Okay, if you need my help, I got it. So I guess Eam just told Saint Saturn, said, but I'm borrowing your body, by the way. So, knowing Saint Saturn, like, okay, go ahead. And boom, you get this monstrosity right here. And even the Marines even says, Saint Saturn, what is this form? Is this an ability? A new threat descends. By the way, we've seen this before with Gonko and like present time Gonko fighting the Straw Hats and the other giants. Now Eam's taken over Gonko. Well, not technically taken over, but it's more like Saint Summers delivered a message to Eam, and Eam is like, guess I have to do this a second time. And I guess Eam just or Saint Summers like, what do you mean a second time? And we all know what happened then. Okay, so with Eam being here signifies, oh, shit hit that level of fan where he actually has to appear now, because this might impact his plans of ruling the world, basically, or a threat to his war making. So yeah, and Eam basically starts going, go to town on the Marines. Basically, and this is a rule. This is what they even said back in chapter, I think 1100 and 1101. I think during the Egghead arc, when Saint Saturn even said, and to all the other Marines, no, it wasn't Saint Saturn, but it was vice admirals and everybody else. And the message was all Marines, vice admirals and above, are to remain on the island. Marines below rank, below vice admiral, get off the island immediately. So seeing this here, and you seeing all the lower level Marines here, justifies this act, because if you remember, when Eam came on the island, when nobody else, or when nobody else, the lower Marines didn't retreat, guess what that one Marine did? Yeah, that's right. He got his head blown off because he stared at Saint Saturn's long enough to, like, Saint Saturn just turned to him, was like, boom, and his head just popped. Just like that. So yeah. So Eam doing this here, I think, is that Eam or I think that's Eam. Yeah. Eam, seeing this Eam, it look like he's more merged with Saint Saturn, mostly. Different scenario with Gunko, but seeing this here, I guess it makes sense Eam just taking out everybody, or Saturn, wherever which one, basically. And one of the pirates are fleeing too, which that's kind of makes sense too, because you got this unknown entity, right? So everybody's fleeing because Eam has now or Saint Saturn has now taken the field. And one Marine says, everyone fall back, attacking his Hebrides, secure the escape route instead. And you got Roger over here saying this, hey, get a hold of yourselves. And you got everybody injured. And even Roger said, Gabon, cover these guys, carry the treasure and get out of here. And you have Gabon said, not this again. You just don't do anything crazy, okay? And you got to give it to Garp. Garp here is like, okay, what the hell is that freaking monster? And the Marine says this to Garp, say, no idea, Saint Saturn just transformed. And even Garp says, one of the 5 elders, huh? This is my first time seeing one. What a fading look for the head of those maggots. Vice Admiral, keep it down, basically. Now, here's the important thing. You have Eam. They don't know this is Eam taking over Saint Saturn, but you have Eam eyeing his eye, or seeing Rox for the second time, because Rox went deep into the Marijwa, into the Hidden Garden with Gunko there. So remember that. And Rox says this, hey, if it isn't the Rat King came to kill me in person, huh? And Eam says this, so thou art the one, Davy Jones. And Ross says, afraid you got the wrong guy. I've never even met the man. That said, I believe promises are meant to be kept. And Eam's rebuttal to this is, that is precisely why your wretched ilk must be expunged from the annals of history. And you just got Eam and Ross going at it, finally. So he says, Mule's world remaining incomplete. And Rock says, this isn't your world to rule, basically. And you got all these Marines out here looking at Rock's going up against Saint Saturn, or Eam here, or Eam possessing Saint Saturn. And you got all of them on the side like, wait, what? Who exactly are you backing up, basically? So you have, I gotta admit, even not Roger, but Garp is like, you know what? I think it's about time I get to do something here. So yeah, now you got some pirates are running away and basically getting the hell out of Dodge. Now you have Captain John over here and says, this is goodbye then, Rock's Pirates. So I guess this is where everything from, this is why, like, back in a few chapters, like 200 chapters ago, that Rox, or Garp even said, like, Rox's crew was made of a bunch of, like, misfits and, like, non-loyal pirates here. So Captain John is one of them, and Shiki, I'm guessing too. Or Shiki Shiki, I'm 100% too. And then next panel you have Dragon. Now Dragon is carrying Shanks, remember. So he's making his beeline, making a beeline to one of the ships. But unfortunately, you have a bunch of people trying to like stop Dragon. Well, technically, this is not stopping Dragon because this next scene explains why like Dragon got pulled away all of a sudden, right? So I did not know this, but it seems like Captain John does have a devil fruit, but we don't know what devil fruit that is though. His devil fruit is big, not Big Eater. It has to be similar to Captain Kidd's devil fruit, but he says this: Big Eater, and all the treasure, weapons, and all of that, and weapons gets pulled to Captain John, and all of that. Even Scopper Gabon's battle axe, or again, pull it in basically. He says, "To me, my treasures." But you have one of I guess not Roger, but I guess one of I would say Rox's allies was like you Snake basically, and it says Sky Snake Red Cannon, and blew all the treasure away from Captain John, and Captain John's like, huh, and hits him basically, making them fall down. And then so seeing this scene right here, this whole scene right with the treasure chest and the baby, and we know where this is going. So skipping that over, you have a bunch of Marines trying to stop guard what he's about to do, and they said, you can't, Vice Admiral, that's one of the world overseers. It looks like a pest to me. It looks like a pest to me. And then you got Big Mom, not Dragon, Kaido, and Whitebeard trying to help out Rocks. Basically, it says Kaido, and Big Mom's like, Kaido, you damn brat. Basically, I'll kill you. You jealous? Check this out. This is my catch guard. Now, how can I say this? You have not one, not two, not three, but six different people busting out their strongest moves in the arsenal. With Galaxy Impact, Dragon, what was it? Galaxy Impact, what was it? Okay, Ikaku Sovereignty, which that is Big Mom's signature move. Divine Departure, which is Roger's move. Pandemonium of the Abyss, which is Rock's move, which I think that attack move is badass if you know what I mean. And the kanji for is Curse of the Abyss. And Whitebeard is with Shattering Void, and with Dragons, and it says Dragon, I guess Dragon Breath, basically. And that all of those attacks combined just hit him. Don't know if that actually hurt him, but that just hit him and kind of hit Saint Saturn too with that attack. And I guess imagine you being on this island, and this island was full of like chaotic energy back in the day, and you was on this island. You was on either Rogers, or a Marine or a random citizen on that damn island, and all of a sudden a big wave of hockey just knocked you out, foaming out the mouth. Just you don't get back up until like 30 minutes later, and then you rise up, was like, what the hell was that? Basically. So that's what actually happened actually, because you had this big bunch of all this condensed hockey going into which that kind of like, was like, well shit. I mean, look at this panel. This panel right here. This is like the. It might not show it because it was right here because this is what they were just showing Eam. But look at this face. This was the face of like, oh shit, I might end up accidentally dying here. He's a what in the world? So yeah, like I said, the combined force of this hockey was so immense. And don't forget, I forgot about Whitebeard shattering, what was it? Shattering Void right here, his signature move. You see the crack right here in the air. So with the combined like might of this, it's like, okay, this maybe not be the place to like to be at right now. Like I feel bad for the Marines and citizens and the pirates, by the way, because they're top leaders for each of the like battle royale. That's what they call it. But I feel bad for the random citizens of this little I feel bad for the rest of the people on this island, because the inhabitants of this island, because they not only just got like invaded by the Marines, now the celestial dragons are hunting them like animals and shit, and now like you got this immense hockey wave, compressed dense hockey, just going wild, and then you say like a crack in the air and shit, and it's like, what in the world? And even the pirates even said it themselves, like, what was that? Is this the start of Armageddon or something? And one of them said, look alive, the treasure flew all over the place, pick it up. So you worry about that. You more worry about treasure than like this is going on. Like this is what you should be more afraid of, if you ask me, because you have Saint Saturn, Eam, Rox, Big Mom, Whitebeard, Garp, Roger, all in their prime, by the way, fighting like each other, fighting each other, and then Eam being like at the center point of their attack. And it's like, what do you mean you're not more concerned about, like, why are you more concerned about that than your life? So you probably gonna lose your life and treasure at the same time. So there you go. So moving on, then you got Dragon sitting on the ground. It's like, okay, that was intense. Is the baby what? And he was holding on to the log, a like broken tree branch the whole time. So we do know how Shanks actually got into the damn treasure chest. The mystery was solved. As you can say, the mystery was solved. Shanks didn't go in the treasure. No one put Shanks into the treasure chest. He went into the treasure chest. So yeah. I mean, you just see Shanks walk into the treasure chest, and last panel of this is like him walking in there, and it's like, okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. And then you got Eam like regenerating after all that bombshell of attack, and I can't forget like the Saint Saturn's body parts too. Basically, now why everybody else is like arguing who got the hit off the last hit off of Eam and Saint Saturn. Rox was like, well, okay, what's going on? Now Eam says this, there they are, far away in the forest running. And Rox is like, hey, don't tell me you're... And then Eam basically says this, a new branch of the Davy clan, the woman and her child frantically trying to survive. Such dangerous lives must not be set loose. And you just got Rox's wife and unfortunately the child way later on going off to Blackbeard running, and that's not good. And then you got not Saint Saturn, but Rox saying this, stop it, what are you trying to do? And then you got Garp looking those huh, what's going on? And then you got Eam impaling Rox, but Rox saying like, wait a minute, this I don't feel anything, it doesn't hurt or even itch. And Eam says this, it will not be Mew who acts, thou shalt be the one to exterminate them. Go forth and slay your wife and child. And Rox was like, what? That's absurd. What are you even talking about, basically? And unfortunately, the same thing happened not only a couple like I would say 50 chapters ago, I won't say 50 chapters, but what happened to when Eam took over Gonko, but the same thing happened when Eam Gonko, which I'm gonna continue saying that, kinda used them as because Eam used the same technique on the Giants on Elbath to like flip them on like to good side onto the bad side, basically change the heart them. If you don't know, basically change of heart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. But here's like the image. I used this image before on one of my One Piece videos. But that's actually what happened. He changed of heart Rocks, Dami Reversi, and last panel you just see Rocks turn game flipped from good to bad. What lies in store for Rock's family? And I got a feeling that this Dami Reversi, I have a feeling that Rocks will probably, actually no, this is probably what, because remember, this is pretty much how, and I'm pretty sure everybody came to this conclusion watching One Piece, of like the story of how Rocks and Roger and Garp actually like gained up, basically how that went off. But this seems like the possibility of why Garp even said, oh yeah, Roger and Garp, despite being pirate and marine, had to team up against Rocks. This is probably what actually happened. Now all the pieces are finally together, right? So yeah, chapter 1063, and we probably get no break next week. So hooray for that. So final thoughts on this chapter. Well, considering what happened during this chapter, now we find out that Rocks backstory. Now we got the full context of what actually happened on God Valley. Good thing Oda is taking us for a like, not all the dots are now completely connected. That solves the mystery of why Garp and Rocks teamed up. Rocks. Why Roger and Garp teamed up against Rocks. I'm about to say Roger again. Because Eam turned him into a demon. Dami reversed him. Change of heart him, basically. And that kind of resulted in this. Which, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't, because you have not only have Rocks. Understand this, because Rocks is descended from the Davy clan. I understand that, like, oh man, I guess this chapter was just so overloading. It was overloading. I can't put it into words. It put me like in a place like, okay, but why though? But I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like, oh, why did you leap? I guess you want to get the final hit off of Eam, but if this, oh man. So here's my thing about Dami Reversi. If Eam can do this on anyone, he could have done this with Rocks, Roger, Garp, because Garp kind of fought the Overseer, so that's kind of like death sentence and punishment from him. But why haven't flipped Big Mom and Whitebeard too? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure like Eam seeing Garp with the Marine uniform is like, oh, you're a Vice Admiral. But what's a Vice Admiral attacking an Overseer? You're attacking a Supreme Being. The consequences of you doing that, yeah, you got to go, or I'll turn you into a demon myself. So yeah. This next chapter is gonna be wild. This is gonna be wild. I mean, who can say, right? But if you like this chapter, this video, like and subscribe, share, and then comment down below if you think if you think anybody else that's got reversed with this technique, because this, like I said, this is the second time he used this. I mean, in the present time, he used it when he was taking over Gonko the first time. Second time, it was in the backstory a long time ago. Now we got like the full scope of, oh yeah, Roger and Garp teamed up against Rox because Rox got turned into a demon by Eam, right? So yeah, and the link in the description for the Discord, check that out. Come and join and chat, and I mean, there you go, building a community here. So thanks again, and see you next adventure. Laters.